Who we got? Queen Samaya, gold. Denny Villavilla, silver. And then a handful of other folks all tied for bronze. So, guys, this might be the closest to the Olympics we get this year. I'm not. I take that back. I really hope that's not the case. That would really suck if there's no Olympics this year. For a lot of people. What's going on? How's everyone doing out there? Welcome to the Coronavirus Hour with Zachary Levi. I'll be your host for the next 60 minutes. By the way, for those of you out there who might think I'm joking, like when I, oh, what's up, Kyle? I miss you too, buddy. I'm so glad we got to hang a little bit when I was in town. I make these coronavirus jokes, like we all do. I mean, I'm not saying I'm alone in this, but I also, I'm taking it as seriously as I think I need to take it. I also think it requires all of us, laughing a little bit. We have to have some levity in all this, otherwise, these things just destroy everything. They destroy our morale. They destroy our connection. We can't do that. So, anyway, that's why I joke. It's not that I don't think it's serious, and I do think we need to figure out how to handle pandemics in the world, which is something we've been dealing with for a really long time, but now we're in a whole another wave of whatever this new form of pandemic in this type of a society where it's all connected and we travel internationally and all that jazz. Like, it's gnarly. Chris Sonnenberg, hello, my friend. Your state is headed for lockdown. What state are you in? Are we all thinking that the United States, like all the cities, are about to get locked down? That's what somebody was saying. I don't know if that's. I think we need to be very careful. I feel like we've been learning this lesson. I don't know if we've applied this as much as we ought to, but we need to be careful about how much we're like spreading information online that we think is true, but it might not be true. Like, just vet it if you can. If you got 5 seconds, 5 minutes. Vet whatever it is that you read online. I find myself regurgitating things like, oh, I read this thing online. I didn't vet it. I don't know. It just feels right. If you read something that seemingly agrees with whatever your mindset already is kind of, heading toward, then clearly that must be right and no need to go and research it. It's crazy how we do that. Yeah, Chris. Three of these back at you, buddy. Hola, Mexico. Memoline uno. Thanks for all the hearts. I always appreciate the hearts. Postponing the podcast. Sound like a tongue twister. Postponing the podcast. Prepare the peppered paprika. Honestly, guys, I'm just shooting the shit with you for maybe not an hour. This might be the coronavirus half hour. This might be the coronavirus 15 minutes. Who knows? Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful that I got to speak at the Active Minds conference in Washington, D.C. That was such a treat. I was a blubbering mess. For anybody who wasn't there, trust this guy. I know, shocker, right? I cried a lot of tears. There were a lot of tears that were shed. It's powerful. It's sharing your journey and particularly your own mental health journey and everything you've gone through and laying that out for a bunch of strangers who were all so kind and so supportive. If you were there, you remember this. That's right. Like beatnik clapping. Plans for Nerd HQ. Yeah, there are plans for Nerd HQ. I just got to find the right partners. I've said this before, but I was working with some folks, and it just turned out that we weren't really meant to be working together, as it turned out, which was a bummer. But I am still very much planning on relaunching Nerd HQ. Better than ever. It will be it'll be a full 501c3 nonprofit first and foremost, and we will be benefiting two main categories. One being mental health. I want to raise a lot of money and awareness for mental health initiatives like Active Minds, but I also want to provide people with really cool edutainment type of experiences that will promote STEAM education and start getting not even just children, but even adults clicked in with and understanding and giving them like real life tools to go into fields vocationally, like where the arts and sciences come together. I think that would be a really cool space to create for people and inspire people with, and simultaneously raising money and awareness for education and mental health and all that jazz, you know? So if you've ever been to a Nerd HQ event before, it will feel very similar to that, but I would say even better, because we'll get to curate it a little bit more specifically to awesomeness. Yeah, not STEM. It's or somebody's saying STEM. It was called STEM. It's now called STEAM. As far as I know, maybe it's gone back to STEM. Maybe they said, you know what, that A, forget about it. It's like Pluto is the planets. We thought it was. It's not. Even though I still think Pluto's a planet, I will never let go of Pluto. Never. Shazam is funny. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've been to Mexico City. I'll come again. I enjoyed my time there. It was kind of, in and out on the Shazam press tour, but yeah. So if there's anybody out there who has run a nonprofit, who, like a boss, and they're done with that one, or you're retired and you want to do it again, or I need like a boss lady or boss man to come in and just really help me take Nerd HQ to the next level and build out cats or dogs. Dogs. What are you, crazy? You nuts? You crazy? You out of your mind? I like a cat here and there, but I'm a dog guy. Yeah, so on the nonprofit tip, if anybody out there, and ultimately I will be looking for lots and lots of volunteers every time we do events or things of that nature, and we'll be looking for other employees to help run that whole entity as well. But first and foremost, I need to find somebody who wants to take it and run with it, help me run with that ball, and so I can keep doing all the other things I'm doing and pop in and assist and infuse it with whatever energy and time and life that I can, and know that it's in the trusted hands of somebody who's running with that. So yeah, I volunteer as tribute. Well, I'm gonna get. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get the website up and going as soon as possible, and then once I get the website up and going, I'll have like info at email or something like that, and I'll just start taking, like resumes or whatever. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Putting the feelers out anyway. All right. Any other questions? Shazam 2 Electric Boogaloo. We better call it that. That better be the name. Ooh, ask Misha Collins and Random X. I may just do that. I mean, they might know somebody, but they've got their own person. I don't know that their person, that seems like they would be overwhelmed if there was two. Wait, what was that? I'm questioned just for the fun of it. Do you believe in reincarnation? Oh man, that's a deep one. I like that. Thank you. Most people don't ask deep questions. You ever notice how often, somebody says, "Hey, how you doing?" And you might not be doing well at all, but you're like, "I'm good." Why do we do that? Because we don't want to inconvenience the other person with the truth, which is so sad. You know what I mean? Or I correlate this into the deep questions, right? We don't ask deep questions because we don't want to put upon someone to have to dig deep, but we're doing everyone a disservice when we don't ask deep questions, when we don't have deep conversations. That challenges us. That makes us deeper, better, more full-rounded people. We should be doing that far more often and not be afraid to discuss deeper things. This whole idea that we've been told for so long, or at least when I was growing up, it was like, never talk about two things. You never talk about politics or religion, which are the two things we should probably be talking about most of the time, so we can all work together to figure out the best way to do all this stuff. No wonder we're so far apart from each other in the political world that we never even talk about it. It was like, we don't want to upset anybody. So then we never really talk about religion. Well, I mean, unless within your own ranks, of course, I suppose you talk about religion a lot. Like Christians talk to other Christians who know that they agree with them a lot. But how often do you talk to somebody who's not a Christian and just ask them, like, what's your religion like? But unfortunately, a lot of religions are very exclusive, including Christianity. And so there's a lot of fear, I perhaps, in that, of asking very humbly asking somebody what they are about and what they believe, because why should you be curious about something that you've already made up your mind is clearly wrong? Or, I don't know. It's weird. We're weird. Human beings are weird, guys. We're super weird. Anyway, back to the question at hand. Do I believe in reincarnation? That's a tough one, because growing up in a Christian journey, I suppose, I've talked about this before, but at the risk of sounding redundant for the now current viewers at home. I grew up Christian for the most part. I mean, that's a pretty broad spectrum. Anyone who's ever subscribed to Christianity can attest to that. The Quakers, the Bakers, the Candlestick Makers, the Protestants, the Methodists, the Amish, the Catholic, the Holy Rollers. I mean, it's all over the place. And there's a lot of things that a lot of different people believe together, but also a lot of separate things that a lot of these denominations believe completely separately from anyone else. So that's already a very vast array, is what I'm getting at. Where I'm at in my life now, as I've said before, feels a little more, I feel a little more Buddhist than Baptist in my Christian array. I feel like Christianity itself has kind of gone astray from what I believe to be really teachings or sayings of Jesus. I think that some of the most profound things that he spoke and that the Bible, holds up over and over and over again, aren't really being practiced. And, like loving your enemy, for example. I think that's probably the most glaring example of what most, not even just Christians, but most people in general don't do that. We love who loves us. We love what is lovable, but we don't love what we don't love. We don't love what we don't like. It's hard. But love is hard. If it's easy, it's just a feeling. Then you get past the feeling, and then it gets hard, and then it's a choice, and you got to choose to love that person across from you, whoever that person is, because they are just as deserving of love. That is, to me, that's one of the most crucial points of what Christianity is supposed to be about. Legitimately, there's nothing, not one person can do, not one person in the history of mankind. Well, at least in our history of mankind, since Jesus or whatever, I don't know, depending on how you believe, what your thoughts are and all that stuff. But now, certainly, there's not one person that can do any one thing that can keep them from the love of God. That's what it says. So, anyway, all that to say, I don't really know about a lot of the. Oh, hey, Kat. Hi, McNamara. I don't really know for sure how God feels about reincarnation. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I believe that there's a God, and I believe that God loves us beyond words can even capture, as far as east is from west. Separates us from sin or whatever that, but ultimately there's neither height nor depth nor principality or power that can separate you from the love of that God. I believe in that God. I can't tell you for sure what all of that God, that entity encompasses. For all we know, in our very, very limited brain capacity, maybe we do come back in another form as another animal or so. I don't know. I know that the Bible, hear me out. I know that the Bible, or at least in many iterations or most iterations, doesn't speak about reincarnation or at least the way it's been transcribed and kind of translated is that there's this kind of Dante-ish heaven, pearly gates and lakes of fire and that kind of a deal. Hey, buddy. But at the end of the day, I don't know that. You don't know that. We don't know that. We don't. It's a lot of guessing games. It's a lot of faith. It's a lot of trusting things. But we don't really know that for sure. So I think, what do I think about reincarnation? Maybe. I don't know. I also think there could be aliens on other planets. That's up to God. for us to assume who and what God is and wants all the time, I think is so incredibly arrogant of us. We are very finite beings who know very, very little. So anyway, that's all that. Did you say somebody said the Democratic debates are going on right now? Really? Those are still happening? Probably without an audience. I get it. Cat, my favorite baked good. Well, right now I have the gluten-free everything, so I don't know. Gluten-free brownies? Yeah, let's do that. Oh, well, Giovanni, I'm so glad that Chuck was helpful for you like that. Chuck, that's one of the coolest things I ever hear about the show, is that it brings people joy. That makes people feel better. Like, as a little kid who got into acting primarily and certainly initially because I loved making people laugh and I knew that made them feel good. Like, that's really why I'm doing this right now. I just like people. I like making people feel good. I like entertaining folks and I like connecting. And so it's so awesome to hear that things like Chuck or Tangled or Shazam or anything else I've been involved in, it's the world. I mean, that's one of the biggest points of entertainment. Why the hell else do we do any of this silly, ridiculous stuff? Why do we pay money to watch people play make-believe or play sports at the highest level? No other animal on the face of the planet. I mean, sure, there's little examples here and there of other animals dicking around or playing or things like that, but they're not like turning it into like full franchises, like, you know, monetizing it. Like, it's crazy what we do. And ultimately not, you know, again, on the most basic level needed for survival. So I appreciate anyone who goes and spends money on any of this schmucko's content. I am super, super grateful for that. Another deep question: if you were in Peru, what dish would you eat? I don't know Peruvian. Oh man, my buddy Choche is going to be super upset with me, but I don't know Peruvian fare well enough to be able to tell you. I would imagine I could be super stoked to pretty much have any Peruvian food. So, anywho. Oh, I know I'm not a schmucko. I mean, but I think we're all schmuckos, right? I think we're all just doing our best. Like, I don't say that like super self-deprecatingly. What else we got? 8:15. 8:15 Central. All right. Come on. Favorite movie? I don't know. Too many to count. But Groundhog Day will always be one of my at least top 5, maybe top 3. In a pinch, top 1. I don't know. There's so many great movies. I don't know. Don't do that. Urgh. You work for a puppet factory? Yes, you can send me a puppet. What kind of a rhetorical question is that? Absolutely, darling. Send me a puppet. ASAP. I do game, but I don't game that often or as often as I used to. So I don't really live stream. I suppose I should probably get into that. Or not. I don't know. There's other things to do in life. Epic voice guy. Shawshank Redemption is my favorite. This summer, and this summer only, Epic voice guy is in town. From the creators of... That's my gamer tag. Wouldn't you like to know? I will tell you that I have a couple of different gamer tags. One of them that I don't use, but I sit on. I used for a long time, but I don't use it anymore because then people started figuring it out. But it's Chuck Bartowski. So if you ever see Chuck Bartowski jump up on Xbox Live, that's me. Or somebody using my account. There could be some pirate out there. What am I drinking? That's just a little Takiki. Some little Apocalypse tequila soda right there in my Yeti mug. Yet again. I've also got my water. I'm hydrating, okay, guys? Oh, Chrissy Metz, Costa Rica was amazing. You got to come, girl. You got to come down there. It's so choice to be so bold as to quote one Ferris Bueller. Ooh, what advice would I give a youth pastor trying to encourage teens? I mean, I think, well, maybe the same advice I'd give anybody trying to encourage anyone, which is I think we need to be addressing people's self-love, their ability to love themselves well and with longevity. You know what I mean? Like we all have such bad programming, all of us, guys. I don't mean to. I'm not trying to. If you feel like you're super healthy and mentally and emotionally, and you're like rocking and rolling, then rock and roll. God bless you. Maybe you are. I don't know. I just think the vast majority of people in this world do not have very good programming when it comes to actually understanding themselves and loving themselves. We have got to do that first. We have got to help people prioritize what is actually valuable, what is truly valuable in this life, and that is life itself, life alone. That is essentially maybe the only valuable thing in this world. All of the things that are alive sustain all the other things that are alive. I don't know if you've noticed this. All of the things that we make that all kind of easier and gives us human beings or perhaps other life, although it would kill a lot of other life, but we get to, go longer, I suppose, physically, but we're killing our hearts and our minds in the process, obviously. I mean, the very instrument that I'm talking to you all on has taken anxiety and stress and depression and shot it to the fucking roof. And yet we're still using it, and yet I'm not knocking it entirely, because it is still like the greatest Swiss Army knife that's ever been created in the history of mankind. It's also the deepest narcissist pool that we've ever stared into. So I think, if we're advising teens, if you're a pastor and you're trying to advise teens, if you're a parent, if you're a teen trying to advise another teen, if you're an adult trying to advise other adults in how to best make it in this life, I think that the root of so much of it, if not all of it, is love. It's love or fear, right? And are you loving yourself? Are you valuing yourself? Or are you giving into the pressures that we are all constantly feeling all the time with the advertisements and the content and the comparisons that we make on social media with other people, and they're living the magic life. If only I could live that magic life. And I'm guilty of it too. We all do this shit. It's horrible. So yeah, that's my advice, is sit down with these teens and try to identify where they might be struggling and how they view themselves. Because they should view themselves as awesome, no matter who they are. As epic, as miracle. They are a miracle. You are a miracle. Hashtag we're miracle. You know what I mean? Methinks. Make a TikTok dance. I might. I probably won't. Well, social media itself, I understand that you think that social media it's all a lie. It's not all a lie. It's just being used for the purposes of lying. Oftentimes, unknowingly. I don't think a lot of people pose their best moments on Instagram trying to be liars, but it's not being their most authentic self, perhaps. It's a struggle. It's a big struggle to be your most authentic self. You are constantly being pulled left and right to not be your authentic self. Think about that. It's nuts. And then we are constantly acting as a version of ourselves that isn't our most authentic self. And we know that either very consciously or subconsciously, so we feel a little more impostery every time we do that. And that's why I think a lot of imposter syndrome is fed by that kind of stuff, So, I don't know. Live long and prosper back at you, homie. Oh, I saw a Disneyland question in there. Wait a minute. Nicole De La Rosa, I love you so mucho. How do I feel about Disneyland and Disney California being closed for the rest of March? What? Wow. I did not know that. The truth is, since we've all been put on lockdown, well, first of all, I don't really have TV here at my house. I mean, I have a TV and I have Hulu with live capability, but I don't really watch a lot of TV, so I haven't really watched any news. And even if I do watch TV, I don't watch the news because I think it's all a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, and I'm not talking about any one specific channel. I'm talking about all of them. We need to get back to information and less about all these people's opinions, which is essentially what the news has become. We need to really fix all that stuff. It's ridiculous. They are all trying to get you to watch their commercials, guys. Don't forget that. They need you to stay watching their channel so that they make money. So they infuse their programming with what? With fear tactics, with freaking us the fuck out. That's what they're doing. Don't forget that. If you want to watch it knowing that. Filter it constantly through that. No matter which channel you're watching, filter that. That's what they're doing. So shit, no. And also on the social medias, I have not seen any news about Disneyland. That is gnarly. That's gnarly. It's unprecedented, right? This is probably one of, if not the most seminal moments. I don't know. 9/11 is I was going to say in my lifetime. I don't know, guys. This is crazy. It's insane what's going on. Although I did see, and again, this could be completely incorrect. I don't know, but I think it's true. But H1N1, maybe I talked about this the other night. I can't remember. But H1N1 went around the world in 2009, and it was targeting. So COVID-19 is most lethal when it comes to people. I think the mortality rate, the average is like it's like at 80 years old with underlying conditions, immunocompromised, like that kind of category. H1N1 was killing targeting and killing much younger, healthier people. But we didn't do anything. We didn't shut down the NBA or any sports or NCAA and lots of healthy, younger people were going to those events. We just went with it. So it's interesting. I think social media is a major part of why this has become what it is. But yes, I did hear about Tom Hanks and his wife Rita. That is super gnarly. Honestly, isn't it incredible, like, just how much we all love them, which is why that was a profound moment. Like, that's a huge person or couple in this world that so many people in so many countries know and really value and appreciate. So, that definitely brings a lot of that stuff home to you when you think, it's not going to come to me or find me or affect anyone that I know. Anyway. It's because this is all a cover to clean house? Cover to clean house? What do you mean? Yes, I do know that he and his wife are in Australia. I was aware of that. Yeah, my family is safe. As far as I know, we've been keeping in contact. Just talking about the state of everything. But yeah. My sisters, their families, my cousin, her husband, my dad. It's gonna be really. It's already such a strange trip, guys. Wow. The whole world is on pause for a month or more, or I it's just insane. Hello, Seattle. What's going on up there? Is it dodgy up in Washington State? I feel like there's been quite a few cases up there, no? Parents harass the superintendent until they close the school. All right. Reviving the word gnarly? You're welcome, bro. Seriously, some of that, like, early to mid 80s skater, surfer, BMXer slang was some of the best we've ever had. Like cowabunga. Nobody says cowabunga. Not now. Bart Simpson did. I loved it. Or radical. Or did anybody else say badical? Did anybody else do that one? I did that when I was a kid. That's badical. We thought we were so smart, combining bad and radical. Just a bunch of dum-dums. Do I believe in the conspiracy theory that Corona is man-made? I don't know. I don't know. Who knows? I know about as much. I know as much about coronavirus as I do about God and or the parameters of God, of which there are none, right? Because God is an infinite. You know what I mean? Like I know this much. I don't know. And a lot of the stuff that you read online, again, you don't know. So it's best to, if you're going to read stuff online, guys, that's fine. Just eat the chicken and spit out the bones and don't take any of it like to be, this is it. This is the smoking gun. Like, don't do that. Because then you really believe it. Then you tell everybody else and then they really believe it, you know, and that's how these crazy wildfires start. That's when something goes viral. So, Corona's been around since the 60s. Well, I think this person might have meant that was this outbreak man-made as opposed to was the virus itself man-made. But I don't know. I've heard some crazy stuff. I heard that there was like some Harvard professor that was recently, or like last November or something, that was arrested with 2 Chinese nationals that were trying to smuggle some biological weapon stuff back to Wuhan. I mean, there's like some really interesting stuff out there that may or may not be true. I don't know for sure. There's a lot of people that they do a lot of things thinking that I don't know, they're getting paid for it. So it's like, well, and the world's all falling apart anyway, so who cares? I don't know. I have no idea. That was too fast. I don't believe the coronavirus. Will the coronavirus turn people into zombies? No, it is not going to turn people into zombies. But I know what will. No, I don't. What's up, Johnny in Austin? How you doing, homie? Oh, by the way, I figured out the toilet paper thing. Somebody told me about it. So apparently the vast majority of toilet paper is created in China. And so everyone thought there was going to be crazy, supply chain situations. That's why everybody went crazy with the toilet paper. Apparently. I don't know. Well, thanks. Whoever that person was, I love you too. I don't know. Favorite book? Fitting. One of my favorite books anyway is Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Which is not exactly what we're dealing with right now, but, excuse me, that should have been a lot louder. Yeah, the whatever dystopian future lay ahead of us. Brave New World, if you haven't read it, highly recommend it. Aldous Huxley was a trip and a half. I hear something skittering around in my lawn right now. I wonder what it was. No, it went by too fast. How's everyone feeling out there? Are we good? Are we freaking out? I hope you're not freaking out. I mean, I understand, but you don't add a second to your life through worry. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah. Dude, that's so good. So good. Is that the tilapia?
It's cod.
A cod? Cod. The Rock would be so proud. I'm going on to the Rock's cod diet. I'm just going to eat entire families of cod. Every meal. At least Corona can't get to pets. That's true. Although it can't right now. I mean, these things jump from animal to animal, right? I mean, it went from like a pangolin or from like a bat to a pangolin to a human. So I don't know. That's right, lightning with my hands. Come on now. See, I was looking like a ghost town. Yeah, I bet. It's been really interesting to see like pictures and video from various friends or acquaintances around the world and the places that they live. New York was still bustling until kind of today, I guess. Yeah, people were out and about. I mean, even out in Austin, we were driving down the highway, and all like along the highway, all the different restaurants and big box store, all they're all packed. The restaurants were packed. People were shopping. Like Men's Warehouse, are people afraid they're gonna stop making suits, or are they just like, you know what, screw it. We just needed a good 3-piece today, so we don't care. I know, it's very strange, but I think that honestly, I was talking to somebody today about this. I think this is the really difficult thing for people to wrap their head around. It's the potential 2-week gestation before you might get sick. That's what people can't wrap their head around, I think. It's not that they can't wrap their head around it. It's like we know it, but we're not internalizing that idea. Because if you do think about it, that means like since, I don't know, I left Los Angeles, which was 4 days ago, there were cases in LA, there were cases in various places. Any one of those people that were down there could have been somewhere I was 10 days before I was there. And you know what I mean? So I think that's what's so weird. I think that's why people really, it's not that people haven't been taking it seriously. It's just that, like, how do you plan to not be in contact with anyone else for 2 weeks, potentially? That's a very difficult thing to do. And now the world is shutting down. But it's still not keeping people away from each other. I know. Yes, I know. My friends on Broadway were posting about how all the shows are shut down right now. It's crazy. I mean, well, no, it's not crazy. Stuff like that has happened before, but you know, it's one of many others in a long list of like, what is going on? It's insane. Like, I can't think of any other time in modern history where there is not one concert, there's not one sporting event, there is not one gathering of more than 100 people or whatever that, I don't even know. It's bonkers. Although, you know, look, I'm always trying to be optimistic and find silver linings in all this stuff, and I wonder if maybe this is an incredible opportunity that we're being offered to take a moment. You know what I mean? Like all of us, collectively, the world, just to take a moment and reflect on anything and everything we need to reflect on in our personal lives, in our interpersonal lives, in our society, in our country, in our continent. Like, how are we all working together or not? Yeah, take the time to rest and reconnect with God. Absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, silver lining, people are now washing their hands. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I can't stop saying it. It's a strange time. All right, I'll go a little bit longer. But I see some really tasty food that's being laid out inside, and I need to get to it to put it in my belly. I haven't seen any looting. Yet, but I know that unfortunately a lot of people are just a lot of people who well, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to cast any aspersions. I just think that there are people who loot to loot. They're just waiting for an opportunity to loot. And unfortunately, we might get to a place there, depending on how different restrictions may fall upon different cities and whatever. I don't know. I'm really praying and hoping that it won't, though, that it won't come to that, and we're all going to be all right. Pickle Rick! Y'all need to watch Rick and Morty. Well, actually, you know what? No. It's a genius show. It's genius. But it's only really genius if you understand the genius of those creators. And I just think that they tap into so many things of my childhood and many other people's childhoods. Wow, childhoods? That's not a word ever. childhoods that is reflected in the show, and it's done so like meta. It's so good. It's so good. But it might not be your steez. That's all I'm saying. But I would highly recommend you checking it out because it's fun. Yeah, Dan Harmon and James Roiland. Yeah. I haven't watched Bob's Burgers yet. I know. I've heard it's so great. But like I said, I don't really watch a lot of content nowadays. I don't know. I'm a huge Peaky Blinders fan. Yes, absolutely. Mama Chloe. I haven't watched the latest season of Peaky Blinders though. I need to get into that. Oh man, I gotta get into this food. All right, 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. And I'm going to go get that tilapia. I'd like to take these 4 minutes to say thank you to all of you who have lived with me tonight. I appreciate it. I know you have a lot of other options. There's so much other content that you could be consuming right now. And you are choosing to consume this content. Yeah! 3 minutes. Blue, come here. Come here. Come here. Say hi to everybody. Oh, yeah. Yeah, say hi.
Oh, gosh, you're so handsome. You're just the most handsome little schmuck. Oi. Little rub on the booty, yeah? You like the scratch on the boo-boo? There you go, right on the butt.
Oh, man, he's just the best. He's also the worst, I'm not going to lie. He's the best and the worst. Of course Blue stole the show. He's a dog. He always steals the show. Two minutes. 2 minutes. My boo-boo comment opened your phone's okay Google. All right. Those are my magic powers. So, hello, Germany. Hello, Canada. All right, no more questions? No more questions it is. Ladies and gentlemen, sending you lots of love. Have a great rest of your night or day if you're on the other side of the world. And I'll keep checking in with you over these next few weeks and making sure that we're all staying safe and that we're all loving ourselves and loving each other. Because that's muy importante. Love ya.